Hi guys, myself Gautam Malhotra, and here I'm gonna explain you about my project, that is the e-procuro. The word E stands for event and procuro is a Latin word which means management. So basically my project is based upon an event management system which focuses on managing an event efficiently. Before explaining my project, I would like to tell you that the project has been made in Java. Java is a very strong language which knows how to use all the resources in the computer very efficiently. Just for an example, it can use the webcam, and using that webcam, it can do various tasks like accessing a barcode, etc. Now let us start with my project. The first module is the welcome panel module. Basically, what this module does is that using this module, everybody can register for an event. Okay, let us see the functionality of this module. Here are the libraries included. Okay, so here what we are doing is that we are basically making a connection with the Gmail server using the object of properties class. Why we're doing that is the reason for making the connection with Gmail server is that when the user will register, he will send a message on his email ID that you have been successfully registered for the event in Java. That is why we need to make connection with the Gmail server using the object of properties class. Then, using the object of authenticator class, we can authenticate the validity of our account. That is, here we enter our username and our password through which we want to send the email to the person. Okay, we pass both the objects in the session classes object, and then we set the subject, we set the text, and we set the recipient who we want to send the message to. Okay, so as we are doing is that whatever values the user inputs in the registration interface, we make a connection with the SQL table, and those entries are directly added to the table. Data is added to the table. Okay, so basically that is the same. All this is the same thing that I told you about for the different. Now let me run the project. Okay, so here I can register, say, as an event manager. I'll do an entry for my friends. Password. The password is only known to the event managers, as we are registering for an event manager. Hence, it should not be obvious for everybody to register so simply. Hence, we have set up a password and we have told it only to the event managers. So here the data has successfully been added to the SQL table. Okay, so I can very well see from here as well. Like here, we can see the entry for Ankit, his number, his email ID, his roll number, his stream. Okay, now let us move on to the second module, the print ID card module. And what this module does is that whichever persons have registered for the event, the ID cards are printed using this module. Okay, let us quickly go through the functionality. There are some libraries included. Then this also makes a connection. So because it also wants to fetch the information whose ID card it wants to print, it passes all the information over here, and using the graphics card would pick up an image that is a simple ID card, and then we set up all the values that are fetched by us on the ID card. And yeah, we also attach a QR code with it, that is the fingerprint of our ID card, that will be unique for everyone. Okay. So here, as you can see, this is a print command. The printer is not attached, so it won't actually print, but yeah, there's a privilege of printing the ID card. Should come. Here it asks. Say it is 1. Okay. Okay. As you can see that the ID cards, this is an ID card that has been printed. Okay, now let us move on to the next module, the scan module. Basically what this module does is that it scans the ID card during the event. It scans the ID card, and if the code is valid, then the person is allowed to enter. So let us quickly go here to this portion of code. We'll open the webcam, set the visibility to true, set the resolution. Okay. Now what this thread.sleep does is that after every 1000 milliseconds, that is of every 1 second, our webcam is expecting a QR code, and it will check for a QR code after every 1 second. Okay. So the result of QR code has been stored over here and printed. And now again we make a connection with the database, and we'll check the validity of that code, that does as that this code it signifies a roll number of a student or a event manager or an outsider. So does that actually exist in the table? The validity is checked through that. Okay. And if the user is valid, then a hello message, hello username is printed, is spoken by the computer, that is a module of Java as well. Okay, now let us test this module. Here I have a sample QR code. That I'll display. Okay. Okay. Here he printed the messages. Okay. So basically that is the whole project. Hope you liked it. Thank you.